Monster Tech is sponsoring a giveaway on my channel. Stay tuned for details on how you can win a set of chair or desk mounts. Hello everybody! Picture this. You've got a pretty sizable fleet in your hangar, and Xenothreat pops up. You and a bunch of org buddies want to hop into the fray. However, many of those org mates do not have that same kind of firepower as you cash wallet whale you. What do? Well, as of right now, you can spawn in a ship, have people load into it, and fly off. Once they're a good distance away, then you can spawn the next ship. It's a very manual process and it can take a few minutes. But talk about a first world problem, right? But today I want to talk about some features that could really enhance org gameplay in Star Citizen. And first on the list is ship ownership sharing. Try saying that 3 times fast. What I'd like to do instead of the process I just described is assign permission levels to various org members. The way I see it in my head is for each ship you can set a level of shareability, and then go through your friends list and org mates and assign corresponding levels to each of them. For instance, my Avenger Titan doesn't get as much love from me as it used to since I now have larger ships. So if anyone needed to borrow it, I'd be more than happy to let them. They can even change the loadout if they wanted. So if I could assign an open pass to members of my friends list so that they can pull my Titan from an ASOP terminal, that'd be perfect. My Scorpius, on the other hand, that's my baby. My X-Wing is only getting flown by people I trust. So for someone like our good buddy Schlog, I'd give him the same rights to fly and modify the ship. But for a not so close friend, I might only let them fly it. So those people in the almost inner circle can still pull it from an ASOP terminal, but they wouldn't be able to modify the loadout. And if they don't have enough confidence with me, then I can restrict them to fewer of my fleet entirely. Where this really comes in handy is when you're trying to do coordinated work as an org. You've got some people doing some mining, but the orders from a few days ago are finishing up and they're starting to pile up. Wouldn't it be great if as an org leader you could designate your cargo runners and they can pull your quant orders from the station and take it off to sell? Profits go right back to your wallet, and then you disperse funds based on role and participation. Or even better, what if they automatically got a cut based on the org service performed? All while you might be with another group entirely, still mining more rocks. Or, even better, on these larger vessels that will be getting more complex capacitors and piping, wouldn't it be nice to assign engineers and pilots, gunners, and the like? We know that hacking and boarding operations are coming at some point down the pipeline. But if you see a system go offline and it has a blue check mark, maybe it doesn't immediately trigger any alarms. It might just be your engineer doing routine maintenance. Suddenly there's an added level to hacking to try and take systems offline without being detected. And let me say, in previous patches, we all worked together as an org to get a Carrack. We pooled resources and grinded until we could buy it. And I say we, but it was really me, because I got a Carrack, and my org helped me to do it. But if I'm not online, the org party bus does not exist. I'd really love to make it so that higher ups in my org could all pull that ship and use it for whatever shenanigans they come up with too. It doesn't do anyone any good to just sit in a hangar all the time. On the other hand, between work and school, I don't get to play all that much at times when others can hop on. So flying the party bus gets a bit lonely. And I think this kind of ship sharing feature has a lot of added relevance with the inclusion of PES, or persistent entity streaming. I can envision logging off in my captain's quarters and logging back in to find that an authorized org member has flown the ship in my absence. This ability means that careers like exploration can gain a level of coordination that doesn't yet exist. It would also make using our larger ships as a mobile base a much more viable option. As an org, we could start planning out fleet movements and make longer flight paths. Admittedly, this does require more star systems to be in place, but the ability to share ships like this seems like an important piece of foundational tech to enable this level of gameplay in the future. And this goes hand in hand with another org feature that I'd like to see implemented: org banking. This really comes down to an expansion of the money trading app. But I'd like to have the ability to create a proxy account on behalf of the org that people can pay into. This can take the form of doing a fundraising for an org stretch goal, union fees, or issuing loans with org funds. I'd also like to see it done such that you can enable lots of people to see what happens to those funds for transparency, and at the same time limit the authority for withdrawals. Within our org, we've tried to do essentially this by nominating an org financier. We send this player all the org funds, and it's within their authority to spend it on org goals as he sees fit, with leadership council, of course. But what happens when that player isn't online? Well, the org is broke. Expanding the banking app in-game with this feature set means that orgs can be more flexible and efficient with their funds. And it ties back into the ship sharing because it's a lot more incentivizing to pay into your org's ship goals if you know you'll get a chance to actually use that ship. It would also make it easier to set up reward systems for org loyalty and issue salaries for services rendered. Like in the mining example mentioned before, you take a load of quant, you get paid out some percentage from the profits through the org accounting. Of course, all this would require a high level of communication. And that brings me to the next org feature. I'd love to see an in-game chat integration with Spectrum. Spectrum itself could stand to be fleshed out quite a bit. It's very rudimentary and results in most orgs using Discord instead, ours included. But it would be great if the official means of communication from CIG offered more tailored features for Star Citizen. Then, to be able to access those same threads in-game would be the cherry on top. I realize it's not that difficult to Alt-Tab and go to Spectrum that way, but having access in-game would add to the immersion, and frankly doesn't seem too far of a stretch from CIG's vision anyway. And I mean, what else are we going to do while we're watching paint streaks across the screen while we're in Quantum? But this kind of integration would also make org reputation easier to track. If those kinds of analytics were available in-game, I could foresee being able to see where you stack up within your org in much the same way that we see rep in-game today for other factions. Furthermore, we know CIG is going to need to revamp in-game comms anyway. It's already getting cluttered with just 100 people on a server. There's also no backlog of communication, so if you miss something, you're out of luck. Some slick YouTuber recommends the perfect video that answers your question. Oh well, try again. But once we do start pumping more players into a shard, it's going to get a lot noisier. We're going to need ways to filter out the literal deluge of chats coming in. It seems logical to assume then that would include ways to filter by org, friends, proximity, mission, etc. I'm hoping the features I've mentioned can be squeezed into the coming rework. And the last thing I want to talk about today is game aesthetics. Today, how do you know if you were taken out by an ace pilot of Oddjob or a pilot from the org Dusty Buns? You don't. Unless they brag about it in chat, I guess. And that actually does have a high likelihood now that I think about it. But the point still stands. What if we can slap an org sticker on the outside of our ships, armor, guns, etc.? We know ship aesthetic customization is coming. I'm sure this kind of customization is obvious to the developers. I just want to emphasize how important it is for orgs to trying to etch a name for themselves. For instance, when homesteads are a thing, I want a rival org to know it was us that raised their stim farm to the ground. So when they check on it, they'll find our flag standing there like a calling card. Or maybe just before their ship blows up, the last thing they see is our logo flashing across their windscreen. Aesthetics give a sense of identity, and they do the same thing at an org level as well. In conclusion, I want to be able to set up ship sharing with my org mates and friends. Org banking would enable a lot of org activities to be streamlined. Comms need a rework, and we can squeeze a lot of org functionality into that coming rework. And finally, org aesthetic customization will add a sense of identity to org players in the verse. But I'd also love to hear your ideas. I may make a follow-up video showcasing the more popular options, so be sure and leave those down in the comments below. And ladies and germs, this brings us to the end of the video, and therefore the Grow the Channel giveaway. Monster Tech is sponsoring this giveaway on the channel, so huge thanks to them. I am really happy to have them as a channel sponsor. They make fantastic products. I've been using their chair for several months at this point, and I couldn't be happier. It's a great chair. It does exactly what I need it to. It fits the kind of lifestyle that I have in front of my desk where I play Star Citizen, but I also play Destiny 2. Videos will be coming out on that in the future. Stay tuned for that. But it really is just a fantastic chair. It's probably the best option for people like us who play Star Citizen, DCS, or any other flight sim, but also do other things with their computer. It's fantastic. And if you want a chance to win a set of chair or desk mounts for your rig, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel and leave a comment on any video during the giveaway period with that video's corresponding secret word. Today's is pretty easy. I'm going easy on you. All you have to do is comment a org feature you would like to see implemented in Star Citizen. Furthermore, if you want to get 5% off your order, use code ODDJOB at checkout for 5% off. That said, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Let me know what you think. And until next time, this is OddJob Entertainment signing off. I want a rival org to know it was us that razed their stim farm to the ground.